Week 3. Last week I finished the x-axis. This week things are going to start to mold together. The way I see it, there's basically 3 main parts left. There's the bed, which includes the y-axis. There's the frame, which includes the z-axis. And there's the e-box, so all the electronics. Obviously, the frame is going to be like the main driver of those other components, of those other parts. I think that it's going to be easiest if I just sort of combine all 3 of them into a single assembly type of thing. That way I don't have to design it how I want it now and then change it later so it fits with other parts. If I can just design it to fit together in the first place, it'll be a lot smoother. I made some carbon fiber. Pretty cool. There's some, I need to cut some parts of it out. Obviously there's some trimming that has to happen, but otherwise I think it looks pretty good. That's for a different project, but maybe we'll get into it sometime. For now, let's work on the printer. So the bed's going to be in layers. That's how I'm going to design it, and that's also kind of how I'm going to build it. I think that really lends itself well to having me talk over how I'm working in real time. So we're going to try that just to sort of mix things up. What I'm going to do basically is work in SolidWorks and also sort of try and communicate what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Any times when I'm kind of just waiting for stuff to happen or there's not anything to talk about, I don't really want to just ramble. So what I'm going to do is I'll just speed up the footage during that time but keep the audio so it sort of has like a quick, I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but we're going to try it. First things first, get some music going. I'll put the music, the music stream that I'm listening to in the description. It's a no copyright stream because I don't want to get in trouble, so I can't really list all the songs that play, but I'll throw the curator in the description because, you know, gotta give credit. Sweet, let's get to work. So I'm just making a new part now. I'm gonna pull up the data sheet on the parts that I'm gonna be using for the bed. My basic plan is going to be Ultim PEI on the top, which is the same surface that the Lulzbot line of 3D printers uses. Below that, I'm going to have a layer of aluminum tape. That's so that way I can use an inductive leveling system. Then below that, I'm going to do a glass bed and then finally a silicone heater. All that's going to have to get mounted to something. Not sure what that is yet. I think I kind of like the idea of sort of fingers coming around the sides, but we'll just see how that goes. That's what I'm going to work on now. Yeah. Aluminum tape, super expensive. So I can get, I can't really show you, but I can get 20 thou thick aluminum sheet that's like $5. So I think I'll use that instead. That way I'll just have to have like double back adhesive stuff between both the tape and the bed, as well as the Ultim print surface and the tape. Should be okay, or rather the aluminum. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I'm just modeling up the aluminum sheet. It's 20 thousandths thick, plus or minus 3 thou, so negligible as far as the model goes. It's aluminum 2024. I don't know if that's gonna be in here by default. Oh, it is. 2024, just go standard alloy. It doesn't really matter. Mostly I just want it all for like a mass readout at the end. So the naming convention I'm using is any off-the-shelf parts. I'm taking the part number from the website and then underscoring the manufacturer. So this is from McMaster car. So we'll save that. And my computer's kind of old, so I'm going to close out that drawing before I do a new one, just to save resources. So that's the aluminum sheet. I also need to add that to my bill of materials, so I'll do that now. Put that with the other bed stuff. Below. Link. And it's 8x8, which is perfect because that's the size of bed I'm going for. Technically my bed is going to be 7.6 something. It's 200 millimeters because that's the size of the heater that I'm getting. But 8-inch size is close enough. I can cut to fit what I need. One of those. Okay, and then next up is going to be the glass. So basically going to use the same process because it's also a square, and I believe this is also 8x8. Yes, it is. And that is done. Next up is the PEI print surface, also known as Ultim. So that's, oh crap, 12x12. I wonder if they have an 8x8. At one point I was going to do a 12-inch bed, and then I changed my mind because that was going to be silly. So I was going for 16th inch. They don't have a 12x12, or they don't have an 8x8, so it has to be the 12x12. That's fine. It just means that it's kind of more expensive. I need to source out the adhesive sheet, which is going to be from Amazon. Bought these already for work, so this works out nicely. What's they called? Five-pack, not available. Awesome. 5-pack of 10x10. That's not bad. I need 2, maybe 3 of them. We're gonna do that. So that's the raw bed. Obviously doesn't do much good just sitting here like this. Also, it still needs the heater, which I should do now. And I'm just kind of going off the picture that I have. So we'll see. Can you see both? Yeah. So I'm just sort of going off of this picture. It looks like it's, I don't know, about 2 inches. Let's go with that. Again, it doesn't really matter. But I happen to know from experience it's around, it's no bigger than 2 inches, put it that way, and it's no longer than 3 inches. Perfect. Yeah, no, it's like way not that long. 2 inches and 1.5. Perfect. And that's oversized, which is good. Good. And then eventually I am going to kind of do some like wire routing, so I'm going to put the wires on here. It looks like it's 3 wires, 1 for the thermistor, 2 for the heater, which makes sense. So I'll put those on here. So putting this one on is going to be a little bit different because it's not quite the same size. I can't just mate it to the edges. I'm going to use a width mate. Basically that's going to center up all the faces that I select. So it's going to center up what's in between these with what's in between these. Except that it didn't work because one of the things is transparent and SolidWorks, for some reason, my SolidWorks selects through transparent objects, which is the most annoying thing, including the glass. Wonderful. Because that too is highly apparent. So having a smaller heater than I do bed obviously would make things problematic for, like, if I needed to print something way on the edge, I couldn't do that because the bed wouldn't heat there. But first off, I don't think I'm really ever going to have to print anything that big on the edge. If I have to print something that big, I should split it up in the first place. Second off, it gives me a nice, I mean, not really that much room, because it's only like 60,000, not bad. It gives me room for the actual mounting features, which is going to be useful because I'm going to put the, obviously I have to attach the bed somehow, and I can clip to this without really having to clip to the heater, which I guess is nice. Maybe it doesn't really matter. It probably doesn't really matter, but whatever. I'm going to pretend that it was helpful. Okay, there's our print surface done. I need to figure out how I'm going to clip and how I'm going to move along. I need, underneath this, I need to build the part that's actually going to hold on to this. I don't want to do that. I'd like to use acrylic parts for flat plates as opposed to aluminum, especially if it's not going to be holding any or taking any load, because I can laser cut acrylic and I can get acrylic cheap from a local place. They do like half price remnants, and some of the remnants that they get are fairly large. I mean, an 8-inch remnant is definitely within the realm of possibility. And then, I don't know if I said already, but I can laser cut acrylic. And that's a whole lot easier than precision cutting aluminum, especially if it's a thick plate. So, yeah. So my camera only lets me record 30 minutes at a time. So we just spent 30 minutes doing this bed. I only have like 30 minutes left of recording, and I'm sort of hoping to work longer than that. It's 7:30 right now. but I don't know, I'm also kind of hungry. Regardless, I want to finish the bed tonight, which means figuring out the plate that I'm going to put under it, as well as the clips that are going to go on the sides so that it actually holds onto the bed. So I'm going to do that now. I'll probably do that in the photo time lapse like we've done in the past, and then that'll probably be it for today. Let's go. So I'll show you the updates, and then I'm going to get to work on another part of it, probably working on the rails that it's going to slide along. Yeah, I don't know what to say here. That's probably what I'm going to do. In the corners we have all the clips, so the way I'm doing this is, I'll just show you here. Isolate this guy. The clip is basically going to screw into a little standoff in the middle that has a flathead screw so that it doesn't so that the screw head doesn't come above this surface, because on this surface the actual bed assembly is going to sit. And then that's all going to get held in by one of these kind of clips. They just cover over the edge just a little bit so that we don't lose too much build area. And then here's these screws that come down through the middle, those flathead screws that I was talking about. And those are going to screw down into this like sort of stiffener plate slash it holds the whole thing together plate. I don't have a name for that yet, but that's what it does. That's a description. And if you can tell by the pattern, it's currently carbon fiber. So I want to keep it lightweight. I want to make it really thin, and I needed to have those properties yet still be stiff, because on this is going to be like the rail guides, and the like belt is going to attach to this. This is what's going to be like the interface of the motion. So it needs to be stiff and make sure I can keep all of this nice and level. So carbon fiber it is. We'll see how it goes. It's not too big, so I think I can do it. And I obviously did this practice piece, which we talked about earlier, but it'll be a bit of a larger piece, and then I can just cut it out, hopefully with like a Dremel tool or something. We'll see. I might scrap this and use something else instead. I was talking a lot about laser cutting yesterday. I might just switch to a thicker sheet of acrylic, and maybe I'll reinforce it with some stiffeners or something. But for now, because carbon fiber is awesome, going with carbon fiber. And that's it. So like I was saying, I'm going to add the like rail guides, or try to add the rail guides, and also work on maybe thinking about, I don't think I'll finish it, but I think I can sort of brainstorm and think about how I'm going to attach that belt to this whole assembly. You probably saw at least the first half of this being built. It's finished. I don't really like it. I think it sits up way too high. So, I mean, this is where the rails are going to have to go through these guides. And it's just way too high up. It's going to make the whole thing too tall. I'm going to have way too much wasted space at the bottom. So I'm going to redo it. I don't like how it turned out. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to stick with this kind of design philosophy. I'm going to keep these type of guides for those rails, but instead of having this giant plate that comes across, what I'm going to do instead is just bolt 4 separate pieces to the carbon fiber, and that's going to mean that it can sit way closer to that rail, to those rails, and it's just gonna, I think it's gonna look a whole lot better. So I'm gonna make that, and we'll see how that goes. I'll check back in afterwards. So that's it for this week. There's not going to be a video probably for the next 2 or so weeks. I'm getting together with some family and I won't have access to either the CAD software that I'm using or the video editing software. So no videos for at least the next 2 weeks as far as 3D printing goes. I might upload some other like cinematic stuff if I get the chance, but we'll see. Regarding this week's video, it was definitely a bit of a longer episode than we've done in the past. I don't know if that's something that you all like or don't like. Personally, I guess I like the shorter ones. I feel like they're a bit more digestible, but I can also see the value of having sort of a walkthrough of what I'm doing in CAD, because CAD programs can be a little bit difficult sometimes, and it's fun to show everyone what's going on and how I'm working. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you have an opinion on the recording style, and I'll try and change how I edit based on that. Cool, thanks for watching.